Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, day after all the stuff going on with the Epstein list, it's interesting to watch because it's most of the stuff online is within the Trump supporting / conservative / Republican community. And some are making excuses and others are very outraged. I've seen numerous posts saying, hey, did we vote for the right person? This is not what we voted for. It's just been lies on top of lies since this, started, all this kind of stuff. And then, of course, there's the other side saying that, well, there's the deep state and the cabal that's stopping this and, all this kind of stuff. And there's probably a little bit of both. I do want to point out that, remember, just a couple of weeks ago, the Attorney General stated that she had the files on her desk, and it's unlikely that she had not touched them over the last couple of weeks. So why weren't they then coming out and saying, hey, we didn't get the whole complete file, something's up, we're trying to find it. It wasn't until there was pressure, and it's a big cover-up, folks. We're never going to see the actual real list and all the real names on it. You all know that. Anyways, I've been talking a lot about how the economy is struggling. And in some ways, I see people, oh, well, it doesn't feel like it's any different than before. But the numbers aren't that way. And the people are, well, in general, are speaking out saying that it's getting worse. In fact, a recent poll showed that, and this is going to be shocking. I know you're gonna big gasp. That Americans are saying that their wages are not keeping up with inflation. Wow, someone just now figured that out. Big shock. Americans are in debt more than ever before. Credit card debt is higher than it's ever been, $1.2 trillion. Housing prices are through the roof and going higher, and yet home sales are lower than they've been in many years. Delinquencies on mortgages in Freddie Mac mortgages are higher than they were back in 2008 during the big housing collapse then. So just from a housing perspective, things are not going very well at all, and that's always a good gauge of the economy, because people buying houses, selling houses, delinquent, whatever, and right now none of the numbers look really good, and it's more than just egg prices. Yes, egg prices are absurd, but it's more than just that. There's just a lot of stuff that's being factored in that man, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And in fact, just the other day, President Trump said that inflation is back. It's back. Not that it ever actually went anywhere, but meaning that it's getting worse, I guess. The markets are reacting also. The stock market's kind of been up and down. The S&P 500 hasn't done so well. Cryptocurrency is doing awful. Donald Trump came in as president and was going to usher in a cryptocurrency era, and has been very pro cryptocurrency. And since Donald Trump was inaugurated, the crypto markets have lost over $800 billion. Bitcoin is down. I mean, it's, at the last I saw, it was around 80,000, 78,000. A lot of the others are doing poorly. BlackRock, this is something to pay attention to. BlackRock has sold about $500 billion or more dollars in Bitcoin just in the last couple of days. They're getting out. There's been a lot of other big sellers that's dumping their big Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So there seems to be a lot going on there that I think is also important when we're looking at the economy. When you look at these trade wars, the trade wars are, with the tariffs and stuff, are causing a lot of havoc. Trump says that the Mexico and Canadian tariffs will go in effect here in just a few days, and he's announced an additional 10% on top of the 10%, so total 20% tariff in China, and then a 25% tariff in Europe.
And again, I want to point out that a tariff is a tax, and it's a tax that we, the people, pay. Governments don't pay that. Businesses don't really. Corporations don't really pay that. It's paid by the importer, and then they typically pass all or most of that on to the consumer. So it is a tax. And with all the other taxes that we have, that's just burdening the American people even more. I've seen talk of the possibility of a new burst of quantitative easing from the Fed because of all of this. Just in general, the markets are not reacting very well to this, and people, their pocketbooks are not reacting very well to this. I think that the stock market's probably going to get worse. I'm not an expert. It's just an opinion. And be watching for banks, because banks and businesses may start going under more. There's a lot of layoffs. It's not just with what Doge is doing in the government. There's a lot of companies that are laying people off. And we've been in a recession, at the very least, for a long time. Maybe not a recession on numbers, but like I've said many, many times, it's not a Wall Street recession so much so as a Main Street recession. But I think we're going to start seeing some worse times. And all the numbers are just, they're all looking bad, and they're also all showing that there is definitely some instability and nervousness. There's been more reports of gold being sent over from London. Now, depending on what source you believe, or if you believe more of the mainstream narrative versus the conspiracy on this is that it's all being sent to Fort Knox, but there's no evidence of that. In fact, all the news reports and the evidence is indicating that all this gold that is being purchased or being sent over from London is being purchased and hoarded by the elite, the upper wealthy, and that they are stashing it, that they are buying gold in massive amounts. In fact, reports yesterday that so much gold is being sent over from London that they're shipping it over in just regular passenger planes in the cargo area, and in just about any type of plane they can get it over, that there's just been massive amounts that's being shipped over. And again, that it's being purchased by wealthy folks, the elites. And that right there, folks, is a huge. If the wealthy are taking their money out of cryptocurrency, if they're removing it out of the stock market, we've been seeing that for the last several weeks. Jamie Dimon, head of Chase Bank, several other major players have been selling off their stocks. What are they doing with it? We don't know, but they're selling those stocks off. And then we're also hearing reports of, tons and tons of gold being shipped to America because wealthy people are buying it. You put two and two together there. And then the sell-off of cryptocurrency and all of this. These things happen. The elites, they make a lot of money in the markets. The stock market, anyone can make money, but the ones that make the big money, the big players, the big chunk of what goes on in the stock market is the elite. I think it's something like 85% of the stock market is made up of, multimillionaires, billionaires, banks, corporations. The rest is the regular people. And so for them to be pulling their money out of those areas and putting them into solid, in not just solid assets, but in a way that it's this dramatic, that there's news reports of just plane load after plane load, and that the London is struggling to keep up with the gold orders, and all these other companies are struggling to keep up with the gold orders because there is this mass buying by the elite, by stashing all their money in gold. That is not normal, folks. That's not normal. And typically the only reason that anyone would be doing that, especially at that level of income, and is because they're trying to secure their wealth. They know it's not secure in the crypto markets. They know it's not secure in the stock markets. They know it's not secure anywhere other than something that you can hold, and that's gold. And so watching all of this stuff happen in the markets and the charts and everything, and what is happening to people in the streets because of inflation, and then seeing what these elites are doing by, mass buying tons and tons and tons of gold, having it shipped however they can just to get a hold of it, tells me that something big is up, and it's probably bigger than what you and I realize. And so we have to start kind of waking up. Maybe I'm going to suspect that most of you aren't, those that are having tons of it shipped over from England. Most of you are just average folks. You're like, well, I don't have a whole lot of wealth. Yes, if you have wealth, if you have investments and stuff, I've been telling you this for years. Figure out a more solid way to put it in there, whether it's investment in land, gold, 401ks, IRAs, gold, physical gold, whatever it is. Those of you that have a little bit or a lot, doesn't matter, wealth, you need to be figuring out a place to put it quickly. You should have already done that. For the rest of us, and including you, those of you that have a little bit extra wealth, but everybody needs to be getting seriously prepped up. Prices of stuff is most likely going to start going up and up and up because of all these tariffs. There's this trickle down effect. Even though a product may not have a tariff on it, it's just everything's going up, right? And so we don't know exactly how that's going to overall affect inflation of just commodity items. There's so much turmoil right now in all of this. There's conflict and strife all over the world, and there's possibly more building, and then there's this shifting of alliances. And so all of the uncertainty typically transcribes to economic hurt. People panic. People don't know what to do, and so prices go up, supplies get limited, and then folks like you get hurt. And so I want to encourage you to now start doing what you need to do to get stocked up on stuff, food, water, medical supplies, ammunition, all that kind of stuff. Doing what you can to kind of shift your finances into a more secure area, because everyone, all the important people, all the wealthy people are doing it, and it's pretty obvious something's going on when you look at everything. So yeah, I think it's time. If you haven't, it's definitely time to start doing these things, because things are looking quite uncertain, and really beyond that, they're looking quite dark right now. So be getting your houses in order. Start preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.